Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. So today, the Social Security Administration is sending its weekly checks out to certain beneficiaries of Social Security. We're going to be covering who is eligible to receive those payments and who can expect to receive those payments in their bank accounts today. Plus, Donald Trump selected his VP candidate in J.D. Vance, so it's going to be a Trump-Vance ticket up against Biden and Harris. But what exactly has J.D. Vance said about Social Security? This is going to be extremely important because if the Trump-Vance ticket actually ends up winning, Vance could end up playing a very critical role in what exactly goes down within Social Security if there is going to be any type of reform that takes place in the next 4 years. So we will be covering what he has said about Social Security in the past. But before we go ahead and dive into the main content of today's video, if you wouldn't mind helping me out real quickly by just giving this video a like, that just helps out with the good old YouTube algorithm, and also consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already. Plus, if you would like to receive up to $200 in free stock or $200 in free cash, in a pinned comment below, I will be leaving a link to Robinhood. All you have to do is once you click on that link is just sign up for a free account and then simply link your bank account. You do not even have to make an opening deposit. At that point in time, Robinhood will be sending you one free stock worth all the way up to $200. And if you'd rather just have the cash, all you have to do is once you receive the free stock is just sell it for what it's worth and then transfer the cash value right back to your bank account. Okay, so diving right into our first story of today's video, and of course, J.D. Vance is the vice president running mate with Donald Trump for 2024. But we're going to be going over what he has said about Social Security in the past, because once again, he as the VP could end up playing a very critical role in how Congress tries to pass certain laws involved around certain things such as Social Security. Remember, within the next 8 to 10 years, it looks like there is going to be not enough money coming into the trust fund to pay out 100% of the benefits. So at that point in time, they will have to cut benefits across the board for everyone, anywhere between 17 all the way up to 27%. So Vance could end up playing a critical role in these discussions, in these negotiations with our leaders in Congress alongside Trump if he does end up winning the presidency in November. So we're going to look into what his viewpoints have been about the program. So according to Newsweek, this is what he said about Social Security. So in one quote, he said that one way of understanding the Social Security problem is old people can't work, young people can, babies can't. So people at a certain age support the babies and the old people. And typically in our society, that's people between the ages of 18 and 65. This is what he told the New York Times. In the interview, Vance seemed to indicate that he was against cuts to Social Security. So basically, he's saying here that we have a workforce between the ages of 18 and 65. These people are the ones supporting babies in the older generations. And he's also mentioned that he's against cutting Social Security. So of course, this is good news so far. He also went on to say that if the argument here is we have to cut Social Security, then what you're effectively saying is that we just have to privatize what is currently a public problem of who pays for the older generation. And he also said, and I don't know why people think that you solve many problems by taking a bunch of elderly people and saying you're on your own. Vance indicated that America needs more people working to finance the longevity of Social Security. So he does not believe that we should be taking the elderly people receiving and relying on Social Security benefits and saying effectively that you're on your own after having this program for a number of years. And he's basically saying that we need more working people, whether that's lowering the unemployment rate or perhaps bringing more people into this country, immigration, legal immigration that is, and increasing our workforce. That way we have more people paying taxes and more money coming into the trust fund. And of course, alongside with that, you'd want to improve our economy as well. So another thing that he also mentioned as well is that he said that you get more revenues, yes, from tariffs, but from people being in the labor force, from higher productivity growth, from higher wages, from transitioning young people who are not working into the workforce, he pointed out. So basically he's saying once again that we need to pull more people into the workforce, lower our unemployment rate, have more people working, have those wages increase because we have a good economy. And because of all that, we're going to end up having more money coming to the trust fund, which will push that insolvency date, maybe a decade, maybe 2 decades, maybe even 3 decades. He was then asked if raising taxes to support Social Security. Vance said he was not against the idea, but questioned whether that would solve the challenge long term. He said that raising middle class taxes, I don't like that idea for obvious reasons. You can get some revenue out of raising taxes on wealthy Americans, but there's no way that you can run an economy at a structural growth rate of around 1% with demographics that are getting worse and worse and worse and solve the problem by taxing rich people. You have to fix the underlying issue. So he's saying that, well, I'm not necessarily against raising taxes, like if we had to tax the Social Security, the payroll tax for people earning above $400,000 per year, for instance. But he's saying that that's kind of just like a Band-Aid solution, that there's actually an underlying issue where we don't have enough workers paying into the system to pay out everyone 100% of the benefits. So you'd just be slapping a Band-Aid by saying, oh, we're just going to raise taxes on everyone. And especially raising taxes on the middle class folks, people who are already struggling because of inflation, and then you're going to take even more out of their paycheck and make it even more difficult for families to get by. He's saying that's perhaps not the best solution. And then also, 2 years ago, the Huffington Post suggested that Vance may have in the past supported Social Security cuts, citing an old blog post where he noted that entitlement programs were widening the federal budget deficits. Vance, though, said that was not his view. He said, I don't support cuts to Social Security or Medicare and think that privatizing Social Security is a bad idea. And while running for Senate 2 years ago, Vance suggested the problems with the trust fund may be overstated. He said that people overstate the problem with the Social Security Trust Fund in particular. He said, I think so long as we don't do really ridiculous things on spending, Social Security should be stable. It should be something that we're able to take care of in the long term. And during that campaign, Vance also said that Americans needed more workers to help finance Social Security. He said we've got to, frankly, stop spending so much on welfare benefits and start having a lot more workers who are paying into the system. That was what he was quoted by as far as AARP goes. So again, Vance is basically saying that we should not be cutting Social Security benefits. Instead, we need to lower our unemployment rate, have more people working, and those people working alone and the tax that will be placed on their wages will be enough to keep Social Security solvent for a longer period of time. We'll have to wait and see. Of course, Vance, if you read his book, Hillbilly Elegy, this is a guy who grew up very, very poor in Appalachia. So he knows the importance of programs like Social Security and keeping people afloat, especially as they reach the retirement age. So I think he's going to be a pretty good advocate for Social Security. And, again, we'll have to wait and see. He and he alone in Trump cannot, pass laws for Social Security. It is something that's going to have to pass through the House with at least the majority. It's going to have to pass through the Senate with at least 60 votes. So Republicans and Democrats are absolutely going to have to work together. It's not like Trump and Vance can come in and just pass a law to raise taxes or cut Social Security benefits. It's going to have to be something that does pass through Congress. Now, in some other news, of course, today, the Social Security Administration is going to send out another round of payments. These are going to be right around $1,900 on average. We're going to be going over who can expect to receive these payments. So according to AS, Social Security beneficiaries to receive $1,900 on July 17th. Find out if you are one of them. So on Wednesday, July 17th, beneficiaries born between the 11th and 20th of the month will receive an average payment of $1,900 from Social Security. After this, there will be only one payment left for the rest of the month, and it will be sent out on July 24th for recipients born between the 21st and 31st of the month. And you can see the payment schedule up there on the screen. Once again, today, July 17th, those payments are going to those with birthdays falling between the 11th and 20th of any given month. And then the following Wednesday next week on the 24th, those are going to be the final round of payments going out this month in July to those born between the 21st and 31st of any given month. But that's all we have for today's video. I certainly hope you enjoyed and found value out of it. If you did, again, I would greatly appreciate it if you could give this video a like. Consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already, and I will see you in the next video.